be going through Nan Hua Primary School paper. This is a P6 paper. It's a first term non-weighted WA assessment paper, and this paper is in 2024. So there's a total of 8 MCQ question. I think 5 open-ended question. So let's us begin now. So study the energy chain below. We have the sun, the wheat plant, the grain for feeding chicken, as well as the boy eating the drumstick from the chicken. Based on this diagram, which of the following is true? So we are looking for a true statement. The chicken gets its energy directly from the sun. No, the chicken gets the energy from the plant. So this is indirectly. So this is a false statement. So number 2, the energy from the sun is passed down onto the wheat plant. That's correct. Okay, you can see that the energy from the sun get passed down to the wheat plant and so on and so forth. So number 2 is the correct answer. Let's take it 3 and 4. The boy does not get his energy from the chicken that he eats. The boy does, because the boy is eating the drumstick that come from the chicken. So this is false. Okay? It should be does not. Okay? The energy from the sun is not passed on from one living thing to another. It is passed on. It is passed on to the plant, to the chicken, and to the boy itself. So this is answer number 2. Okay, moving on next. 4 students make some statement of photosynthesis. We have to identify which one is a correct statement. Mervic, green plant absorbs heat, not heat. This is light. Okay, so this is wrong. Alan, green plant cannot photosynthesize at night even when there's light. No, green plant can photosynthesize. Can photosynthesize at night when there is light. So this is a wrong statement. Green plant will photosynthesize faster when the amount of carbon dioxide increases. Yes, this is correct. Okay, so there are a few factors that will affect the rate of photosynthesis. Light. So this one usually when there is more light, rate of photosynthesis increases. More carbon dioxide, rate of photosynthesis also increases. Okay, these are the main 2 factors that we are looking at. Okay, green plants need heat and light energy to make food. No, green plant need only light energy to make food. Okay, Mandy is wrong. Jessica is correct. So the answer will be number 3, Jessica. Okay, so Lillian set up an experiment to find out whether carbon dioxide, okay, is necessary for photosynthesis. So the aim is really to find out whether carbon dioxide is necessary. So in this case, based on this statement, you should have already have idea that you should have one setup that has carbon dioxide, the other setup don't have. Okay, don't have carbon dioxide. One setup have carbon dioxide, the other setup don't have carbon dioxide. Okay, one have, one don't have. Okay, do not have. Okay, do not have carbon dioxide. Okay, so she uses a plant which have leaves with green area labeled at B and C. Okay, so B and C is the green area. White area is A and D. Okay, so which of the following 2 areas should Lillian compare to show that carbon dioxide is needed for photosynthesis? So A and B is totally no carbon dioxide. But A and B, there's a difference. A don't have the green area, no green. B has green area. Okay, then we take a look at C and D. C is the green area, but D is no green area. Okay, so in order to check which 2 setup, we should actually take green and green. One don't have carbon dioxide, one have carbon dioxide. Okay, one have carbon dioxide in this case. So it should be B and C. B and C. So B and C is the correct answer. So in any fair experiment, right, or in any experiment you want to conduct, you have only one change variable. The change variable will be the presence of carbon dioxide. Okay, CO2, which is in short CO2. Okay, you should compare both green area. It is because both green area will have chloroplast that can allow them to make food. Okay, so in this case, if you choose B, right, it has ability to make food, but it does not have carbon dioxide. Then in this case, if B does not make food through the starch chairs, through the starch chairs, okay, does not make food through the starch chairs, then you will know that with carbon dioxide, without carbon dioxide, plants cannot make food even when there is light, or even when there's chloroplast going on. So this is a C. Okay? So in this case, you should compare both green area. One have carbon dioxide, but one don't have carbon dioxide. Okay, so let's move on to B. Let's move on to question 4. A toy car is made of iron. Okay, this is trying to tell you that it is a magnetic material. Okay, iron is a key word. Okay, was moving up the slope due to the attraction of magnet placed on top. So it moved up. Which of the following shows the changes in kinetic energy and potential energy? So kinetic energy will increase because there is movement. Okay, there is movement. So KE increases. There's movement. Okay, so 1 and 2. So between 1 and 2, we will take a look at gravitational potential energy. Just before it was attracted, it was at this height. After it was attracted, it was maybe about this height. Okay, can you see that the height increase? Height increases. So when the height increases, GP will increase. So therefore, the answer is number 1 for this question. Okay, moving on next. 3 books XYZ were placed on the bookshelf. The diagram below shows the mass of each book and its distance above ground. So over here, which of the following statement is or are true about XYZ? Okay, all XYZ are trying to tell you potential energy, and in this case, it will be gravitational potential energy. Gravitational potential energy. Okay, and you know that it's affected by 2 things: mass and height above ground. Okay, when the object has more mass and higher height above ground, you will have more GPE. Okay, that's the idea around it. So let's take a look at this statement. Book X has less than Y. Okay, they are of the same height, but X is 5, Y is 2. So book X have 5, while book Y has 2. So in fact, this is a false statement because it should be more. Okay, then it will be true. Okay, now we move on to book Y. Book Y has more potential energy than book Z. Book Y is here. Okay, book Z is here. Okay, so if you compare, they are of different masses and they are of different height. So actually you can't really tell because now there's 2 things that is changing. You can only compare if they are at the same mass. Okay, can only compare if they have the same mass or they are at the same height with different mass or different height. Okay, in this case, so if same mass, then the height must be different. Height different. Okay, if same height, then the mass is different. Then only you can compare. If not, it's very difficult to say whether book X or book Y, which one has more potential energy. So this one is not possible to tell. Okay, not possible to tell MPTT. Okay, so this is also false. Book X possesses the most. Okay, let's see that most. That means you have to compare with everything. Book X has the most mass. Okay, has more mass than most of the book. Okay, has most mass, and it's at a higher height. Okay, so therefore this one will have the most GP. Among all, this will have the most GP. Okay, if we were to compare between the 3 books. Okay, so therefore only this is true, which is number C only. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, the diagram below shows the water cycle. Okay, so you have water vapor, which is a gas. Okay, then you have A, you have rain, you have B. Okay, so when water vapor rise up to the sky, right, usually it will condense to become cloud. That's your cloud formation. And then you have your rain. When the cloud become more heavy, fall as rain. Then when the rain fall, right, it will either feed to the ocean or feed to the nearby river. Okay, all these three substances, right, they are all in a liquid state. Only water vapor is a gas. Okay, so a gas become liquid, which is process wise, that will be condensation. Okay, when liquid become gas, that will be evaporation, which is process X. Okay, so this will be if we were to match all this, right? A is cloud, B is river, evaporation, condensation. So the answer is number 2 for question 6. Let's move on to this part. Okay, this is also about condensation. Okay, so you have this diagram over here. We have the Bunsen burner. The water over here is boiling. Boiling. Okay, when it's boiling, there will be a lot of warm water vapor that is coming up to the surface. Okay, and this warm water vapor, after a while, when it touches this metal tray, right, somehow it forms water droplets. This warm water vapor is a gas, water droplets is a liquid. So liquid, a gas become liquid, it will be condensation. And when condensation takes place, right, the warm water vapor need to lose heat to this, because condensation is a loose heat process. Therefore, it must lose heat to the metal tray that we are looking at. And these things we already established. Since this is warm water vapor, for it to be able to lose heat, this must be a cooler metal sheet. That means the metal tray is way cooler, okay, than the warm water vapor. That means this one will have a lower temperature. This one will have, the warm water vapor that is coming out will have a higher temperature. That is how the warm water vapor is able to lose heat, while the cooler metal tray will gain heat from the warm water vapor. So this is the main idea over here. Okay, water droplets are observed forming on the surface of the metal tray. Which one best explained? So we have to choose of all these statements. Which one is the best? Okay, water from the surrounding. Water from the surrounding. So this statement is trying to say liquid water from the surrounding came into contact and condensed into water droplets. This is liquid. Liquid, and then water droplets is also liquid. Liquid can, if we put this together, liquid change into liquid, there is no condensation to begin with. So this is ultimately wrong. Okay, so over here, this is a gas, yes. But the source over here, he tells us that it's from the surrounding. Is it really from the surrounding? You take a look at this diagram. The water vapor is actually coming from here, which is the water that is boiling. It's really not from the surrounding. Okay, so this is wrong. It's a wrong source. Wrong source. Okay, although the back part it is way correct. Actually, the back part, another part is wrong. This part is cooler. Okay, so there's a few things that is wrong really. This is wrong, this is wrong. Okay, so let's take a look at part 3. Water boil. Okay, the water is in a liquid state, change into a steam. Okay, the steam itself is actually hot water vapor. And this water vapor is at 100 degrees. That's why we call it steam. Okay, so the hot water vapor came into contact with the cooler metal tray, that's correct, loses heat, condensed into tiny water droplets. Okay, this is actually a correct statement, so the answer must be number 3. So let's take a look why 4 is incorrect. The reason why 4 is incorrect is because of this idea. Warmer. It cannot be warmer. If it's warmer, right, then the steams cannot lose heat to the metal tray. Cannot lose heat. Okay, and you say take a look, gain heat. Condensation we already established is a loose heat process. Loose heat process. So it cannot gain heat in this sense. When you put these two items together, side by side, it is already a wrong statement. So the answer is number 3. Okay, moving on to question number 8. This is the last question. Okay, this is really about water conservation. Okay, water is a limited natural resources and there's a need for water conservation. Which of the following are ways to conserve water? Okay, use a running hose to wash the car. This is wrong. You should use a pail. Okay, a pail can allow you to save more water while doing the same activity. Turn off the tap while brushing the teeth. This is correct. Okay, this will help you to save water. Take a bath in the bathtub instead of short shower. No, it should be you should not take the bath in the bathtub. This is not water conservation because you are using more water to do the same activity. Okay, so use water from washing vegetable to wash plant. That's correct. Okay, so the answer is B and D. So the answer is option number 2. Okay, so moving on now to the open-ended question. So we have 5 questions in total. Okay, so 4 parts of a plant are shown below. You have the leaf, the stems, the roots, and the flower. Draw the arrow in the diagram to show how food is transported. So now is food. Okay, so you need to be able to do this. You need to know food start from where. Food start from the leaf. Okay, food is found in the leaf. Okay, the leaf carry out photosynthesis and produce food. So before it goes to any other way, it will go through the stem, through the food carrying tube. Okay, and then it will go to all parts of the plant. Okay, this will be all parts of the plant. Okay, so over here to put it simply, we just put an arrow to here. Then stems will connect to roots and flower because roots and flower are all parts of the plant. So it will be this and this. This will be your answer for question 9. Okay, define photosynthesis. Okay, this is basically a textbook question. A textbook, or rather a textbook answer. Okay, basically you just memorize and you just write down the definition correctly. You should be able to get it. But the trick is you need to include light with trap light with chloroplast. That's the first point. Okay, these are the key idea. And use what? Use carbon dioxide and water to make what? To make or produce food plus oxygen. Okay, so these are the main key idea. Trap light, use carbon dioxide and water, food and oxygen. Okay, so this will be the how you answer this. Plant trap light using chloroplast and use water and carbon dioxide to produce oxygen and food. So key idea. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so this question is really about photosynthesis. David conducted an experiment on photosynthesis in dark room using the setup below. He measured the amount of gas collected in a measuring cylinder. So after some time, so you have a lamp and you have distance x. Once you have this distance x, you must need to pay close attention. Okay, this sometimes is really your key. And you take a look at the graph. The graph also tells you distance x. Okay, you have water plant that's giving out bubbles, and over here there's some gas that's collected. Okay, he repeat the experiment by increasing distance x. So he increased distance x. That is the change variable he's trying to tell. Change variable, or is represented by this. He kept all the variable constant. These are his results. The amount of gas collected, right? This is actually something that is measured, measuring. So it's actually your measure variable. Okay. This over here, it is actually sometimes what we call the observable measured variable, and it is used to tell us the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, because photosynthesis is a process that happens in leaf, inside the leaf. Okay, and this process you cannot see with your eyes. Okay, cannot see with our eyes. So what do we know? We need to use an indirect measurement, for example, like collecting the gas, and then use that to tell us how fast or how slow the rate of photosynthesis is. So this is sometimes what we call the inferred measured variable. You infer it from the amount of gas collected. So if there is, okay, so this idea is if you have more gas collected over time, that means your rate of photosynthesis is faster or higher. Okay, so otherwise, if you have less, then it will be slower or lower. Okay, this is the key idea behind it. Okay, now let's take a look at the question. State the gas that was collected and the measuring cylinder. Since we already established that this is a photosynthesis process, because there is light, okay, or rather there is light, photosynthesis take place. The things that will be produced will be your oxygen. Okay, so this is the answer, oxygen. Okay, based on your answer above, what could David conclude from his experiment? Okay, what could David conclude from his experiment and explain? The first conclusion that you can make is you take a look at these two parts. Distance x, volume of gas collected. And you take a look at this line. The line is going down. So that means when the distance x become larger, in this sense, become larger, the volume of gas collected become lesser. Okay, so if I were to draw a line, it will look something like this. Okay, so let me trace this out. So if you are at this distance, okay, if the lamp is at this distance, this will be the amount of gas collected. If the light is at this distance, this is the amount of gas collected. Can you see this part over here? It went down. Okay, when you increase the distance, and it is also represented by the line. The line is going down. Okay, this line that is going down, it refers to the volume of gas collected when you increase distance x. When you increase distance x. Okay, so it has to be really in this way. And usually we will write this part first because this is your cos. This is your cos. And this is your effect. This is your effect. Okay, so based on his result above, what could David conclude from the experiment? Okay, basically you have to state the relationship first. This part of conclusion can be written in a relationship manner. So you conclude based on what the graph tells you. So as distance x increases, the amount of gas collected decreases. Now you're going to explain why. Okay, let me show you this part. Okay, when you increase distance x, okay, let me just draw this part. Okay, when you increase distance x, okay, okay, use distance x. You are trying to say this: the light, right, actually is becoming further and further away when you increase distance x. Okay, so sometimes you can't see it. Maybe here is 1 cm. Okay, 1 cm. So when you increase distance x, it means this. You are trying to do this. Okay, then here will be maybe about 2 cm, right? Okay, so this is the meaning of increasing distance x. The light source become further away. The light source become further away. Okay, so when you increase distance x, there will be less light reaching the plant. The key is less light. Okay, so let me go back to this. Okay, distance x increases, less light reaches. Okay, maybe before I do this, I'll say lamp is further away. Okay, when the lamp is further away, less light reaches the plant. And because of that, we have less light, right? Rate of photosynthesis, ROP means rate of photosynthesis, it will decrease and it will produce less oxygen gas bubbles. Okay, less oxygen gas bubbles, which is the result that we're looking at. This is this part over here. So we are trying to make the linkage. So this explanation is really trying to ask you to come up with this part. Okay, come up with this part over here. LAMP is further, less light reaches plant, RP decreases, produce less oxygen gas bubble. And this will be the full explanation. When LAMP is further away, less light reaches the plant, causes the rate of photosynthesis to decrease and produce fewer oxygen gas bubble. Link them out together, that will be your own explanation. Okay, so David conclude the experiment conducted the experiment in the dark room. Give a reason why this helped make the experiment a fair one. Okay, a fair experiment is trying to make sure that there is only one change variable. Okay, so you think about it, if you don't conduct it in the dark room, what will happen? There will be surrounding light, and this will affect the rate of photosynthesis again. And you don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen because you only want the rate of photosynthesis to be only affected by the lamp only. Okay, remember this lamp? Okay, the lamp only. Okay, and you are changing distance to find out if the distance will affect the rate of photosynthesis. So there is two ways to answer this kind of question. Okay, to ensure the lamp is the only source of light that will affect the rate of photosynthesis, or to ensure that the light from the surrounding does not affect the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, for this part. Okay, so let me move on to the next portion. Okay, Joshua placed a toy car in the middle of a rubber band and used it to pull the rubber band backwards, as shown in the diagram. Then he released the rubber band and measured the distance moved by the car. So very quickly, the distance moved by the car will be the measured variable, because already tell you the verb measured variable. Okay, and then the change variable, sometimes it may not be seen very clear. You can take a look at the table, the extension of the rubber band. Okay, or you can look for the word different extension. This represent the change variable. Different extension length, and recorded his result. What was the extension? It is represented by the diagram, the extension of the rubber band, how far he pulled back. Energy processed by the stretched rubber band. Okay, stretched rubber band. Since this is a stretched rubber band, it will return back to its original position. This kind of object will possess elastic potential energy. It's a stored energy inside the rubber band. When you release it, the energy will be converted to kinetic energy of the toy car, allow it to move forward. What is the relationship between the extension of the rubber band and the distance moved by the car? Okay, how to read this? You can read from here. 4, 6, 8. So increase. Okay, 10, 14, 20 increase. I read from left to right. Okay, sometimes the information will be arranged top-down manner, sometimes left to right. You have to really identify which way to read it which is the most beneficial for you, is in this direction. Okay, so how do I do it? Since I already know increase, I will just have to write it, copy exactly the variable that has been given. That will be the best way. So as the extension of the rubber band increases, the distance moved by the toy car increases. Okay, this will be a very direct question. Okay, state one variable that he should keep constant in this experiment. Okay, this kind of question, look into the diagram. Okay, the rubber band cannot be the one that is keeping constant, because the rubber band is related to the change variable. So you take a look, what is the other things that you can keep constant? The car, the toy car. You can talk about the type, the mass. Okay, these are the two things that I can think of it. The type of the toy car, different toy car, it may affect how far the distance traveled by it when you stretch to the same length, right? So the type and the mass does affect. Okay, so I will say type of toy car, or even the mass of toy car, it does affect. Okay, so this one must be kept constant, because you only want to check if the length of the rubber band would affect the distance moved by the toy car. So what could he do to obtain a more reliable result? Okay, take note. This is a suggestion. Suggestion. What must he do? Okay, usually for reliability, you link to whether you can repeat the experiment. Okay, because he only do one extension for one try. So maybe he can do first try, second try, or third try to increase the reliability and check whether they are more or less the same. So this one usually, how do you make it more reliable? You repeat. You repeat, then you check whether are the result the same. Or rather, another way will be repeat, then you find average. Okay, this is more or less a kind of like a standard answer. Find average of the measure. This part you have to write the measure variable, which is the distance moved by the toy car. And this is how I will write it. Repeat experiment 3 times. Find the average distance moved by the toy car. Okay, try to spell this out instead of writing the word result. Okay, this will make your answer more contextualized to the question that is being asked. That's the question that is asking. Okay, the last one, this is on the topic of water. Okay, Jaden filled 3 identical glass bottle XYZ with different temperature. Okay, different temperature to the same level in each bottle. Different temperature. He left them sealed on the table. He observed water droplets on the outside for Y, inside for X, or for Z, and X got no water droplets. Okay, so fill in the box with XYZ starting from the lowest to and to the highest. Okay, from left to right. Okay, so over here, if you look at this question, this one is formed on the outside, this one formed on the inside. Right? Straight away, you probably know that this is cold water. Okay, you probably have this experience. You get a cold water from the McDonald's, right? After a while, you will see the water droplets forming on the outside. Because why? This part over here is a cooler surface area. That's why the water must be cold. Okay, the side of the cup, right, actually lost heat to the cold water inside, and the temperature went down. Okay, so then you will have the warm water vapor coming in and touch this surface, able to lose heat to the cooler surface area. So then it can condense, okay, into your water droplets. Okay, on this part. Okay, so this part over here, okay, must be your hot water. Okay, because water droplets form on the inside. That is really a clue. Okay, why it will not form on the outside? Because this surface here is very warm or very hot. The warm water vapor, right, when it reach to this surface, okay, maybe let me just draw it. The warm water vapor, when it reach to this surface, right, it cannot lose heat because this one is a warm and hot surface. It cannot lose heat, it will not be able to condense. Okay, but for this, why it will condense onto this side, right, is because the hot water that evaporate from here, right, is very warm water vapor. It's of a very high temperature. And then this part over here, okay, is not touching not touching hot water. Okay, when it's not touching hot water, this part will be quite cool, or rather it will be a cooler surface area. For this warm water vapor that evaporate from the hot water to be able to lose heat to this surface. Lose heat, and then it can condense and then change into your tiny water droplets. Okay, this surface here is way cooler, okay, because it's not touching the hot water. Okay, so now for the last surface, right, because this surface and the surrounding temperature of the water vapor, they are at the same temperature. Okay, because they are at the same temperature, the water vapor will not be able to lose heat. Therefore, they cannot condense. Therefore, you will not have water droplets forming. So if I were to rearrange this, I will say Y would be the lowest temperature, followed by X, because we know that this is more or less at the room temperature. then followed by Z, because the Z is the hot water. Okay, water droplets will form on the inner surface of bottle Z. So we are looking at this part. Okay, so over here, as I explained, the water droplets that is forming in water Z, right, really come from this hot water over here, and this hot water, right, actually produces this warm water vapor inside it. Okay, so this is how I will explain. Warmer water in the bottle Z evaporate to form your water vapor. Liquid become your gas, and your warm water vapor, right, loses heat. Okay, your gas again loses heat to the cooler inner surface of bottle Z, condense into your tiny water droplets back into your liquid. That's why you will appear. That's why these water droplets will appear at this end over here, this side, and this side. Okay, so this is the one of the best way to answer this. Okay, you must state the source of the water vapor, which come from the evaporation process. This part is really to tell me the source of water vapor, warm water vapor. Okay, so another way, right, usually people make a common mistakes. Okay, is that they will write it in this way. Okay, warm water vapor from the surroundings. Okay, they will say from the surrounding, then they will say loses heat, condense, okay, into your tiny water droplets. Okay, why this part is wrong? It's really because of this. Okay, because the source of warm water vapor, right, it is not from the surrounding. It is actually coming from the evaporation process of the hot water. In this part, it's really due to the evaporation process. Okay, therefore, this answer cannot be accepted. Okay, because the source is wrong. It really shows that you have not understood what condensation mean in this question. Okay, so part C, the water droplets form on the outer surface cannot be seen. Okay, water droplets cannot be seen after a while. Right, water droplets is in liquid, cannot be seen. Right, it must have changed into a state that you totally cannot see, and the only state that you cannot see is a gas. So you take a look, with this idea in mind, liquid become gas, it must be evaporation. Okay, so the idea behind it, the water droplets must have evaporated, and for you to talk about evaporation, you need to gain heat. Where could it gain heat from? Okay, you take a look. Okay, this is cold water, right? After a while, the water droplets disappear, right? It could have gained heat from the surrounding air. Okay, surrounding air. It gained heat from the surrounding air. That's why it evaporated into water vapor. It mixed with the surrounding air, no longer there anymore. Okay, so this will be part of the answer. The water droplets gain heat from where? Evaporate into what? Okay, so with that, we have more or less come to this end of the paper. Thank you.